Yep.
Got it.
Big button back there says power.
Call the meeting to order. I must remind everybody to, please remember that we are on live streaming this meeting. And also for the council, just remember to hit your button on your speakers, because after so many seconds it will go off after you're finished talking. The meeting for February 22nd, 2021 at approximately 6:20 p.m. is now in session. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag led by Councilperson Picarella? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll take the roll call. Councilperson Ginever? Here. Councilperson Schonberg? Councilperson Becker?
I'm here.
Councilperson Fisher? Here. Councilperson Bradley?
I'm here, Your Honor.
Councilperson Massa? Councilperson Farmer?
Here, Your Honor.
And Councilperson Picarella.
Present.
I will entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Madam Clerk, has this agenda been posted, dated, signed, and/or initialed? Has everyone had the opportunity to view the minutes of the council meeting for January 25th, 2021?
I'll move to approve the minutes of the January 25th meeting.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of the January 25th, 2021 meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Public comment, we have Mr. Bruce Cooper on false alarm fees. Mr. Cooper, you may have the floor, sir. Yes, sir?
Jason, is that microphone on?
It's green. Okay. I just, when I first saw the ordinance, I was concerned about it. Since then, I've talked with the mayor and Jason about it. Kind of got a little more explanation of what was going on. First of all, I used to own a security company for many years. I don't now, so I feel like I can be impartial here. I think there's definitely a need for a false alarm ordinance, because false alarms are probably 99.5%. Most alarms are 99.5% of alarms are false, and it hurts the security industry. It puts your officers, your fire department at risk, the general public. So I have no problem with that. Initially, I guess I didn't understand the whole situation. I've been informed of it, because when I first read it, it seemed like it was very strict or very unreasonable, I guess. Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's yeah. Because, for an example, and I had them with me, and I wasn't able to get back to my house before I came here. Example, Festus gives you one per year, which is what your ordinance accordingly says. And then I think the next one is $50. After that's $100 per incident. ARN would give you 3 free a year, which I think is too lenient. So and then I think there's this 25, 50, and $100. I think Festus is pretty much where it needs to be, and pretty much where it is across the nation. Because I mean, I've researched this. And not just for this incident. I did my whole 30 years in business. Now I know you have a small majority that is 99% of your problem. And and y'all know who they are more than I do, but I know a lot of them. They need to be controlled, or something needs to happen. And your ordinance, after I talk with Jason and the mayor, I kind of see your idea behind it. I guess my bottom line is, I had a big platform before I talked to you guys, and you brought me down. I appreciate that. I think your ordinance is reasonable, and am I wrong? Has it already been passed? Yes. Okay, so I don't know why I'm up here, really. I'm giving an opinion, that's what I'm...
Yeah, and I understand. In the future, Mr. Cooper, you know, we can see how it goes, and this ordinance can always be amended,
Sure.
you know, in the future if need be.
Mhm.
That's for sure. But we just had to have something with some teeth in it so we can take action on some of these things.
And I know you've already had it revised, which brought it down, or made it less severe, I guess, and that's good. I guess my main concern is, you know, you have regulations that state, you know, your first one's free, the second one's $100, and after that it's $250 and up to $500 with possible jail time?
No, jail time's not in there anymore.
Okay. Well,
We took that out.
I guess my concern is, you know, the ones that are really abusing this, you know, that are causing the most problems, I can see them getting fined for that, but then if you don't find the other ones for the same incidences, whether they're big or small, the ones that are really being the problem can come back and say, well, you know, why don't you make them go by the ordinances or go by the rules? So, like I said, I have no complaint. And then, again, after talking with you and Jason, I feel like I really don't have an argument or a complaint about it once it was explained to me. So I'll stop.
Well, I appreciate you coming forward, Mr. Cooper, because this can be amended in the future if we see that it needs to be. And the other thing is, we're not out to really hurt anybody or anything else. I think it's, each time this happens, it's just gonna things are gonna have to be taken in consideration.
Sure.
All we want is for the individuals to comply. Just stay in compliance.
Mhm.
That's all we want.
Yeah.
Instead of a repeat and a repeat and a repeat and a repeat.
Right.
Which cause the officers, you know, they're already out biggest part of the time, you know, on whatever shift it is. We have officers to cover that, and they will respond. Fire department, at
different-
2 o'clock in the morning, they get called out, and it's just repeated offenses. And that's all we want is people to comply.
Sure.
So,
I
but
agree.
we appreciate your time, and you make sure you tell your father I said
I
hello.
will.
Thanks,
I'd
Bruce.
like to have you come in here and explain your point of view on it, Bruce, because you've worked in it for many years, so,
Yeah, we do appreciate it. Jason, did he see the most recent ordinance? Because there was quite a bit of difference between the two.
I'm not sure if he saw the first one. I didn't see the first one. He does have a copy of the second.
Okay, all right.
That's probably for the best. The first one was worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, moving on, Mr. Scott Grupa, the condition and plan of Riverview Heights. You may have the floor, sir.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So I'm new to this area. I've only been here a couple of years. I've lived at 111 Riverview Heights for about 2 years now. If you're familiar with that road, it just kind of ends before my mailbox.
Right.
So I got a call from, is it Daniel? He says that the city property line ends at my mailbox, which is before my driveway. So right now, there's a big mud pit at the end of my driveway. I don't know what transpired back when, who built what, or how this works down there. I was just trying to get a handle on what can I do and what can the city help me do to fix that road. And this year, I've pulled out 3 post office vehicles, the ice cream man, and 2 Amazon drivers. Because they get down in there, they back down in there, they get stuck. So and when they plow the snow this year, I sent Jared a picture, they plowed the snow and the snow stopped in my driveway. So I couldn't even get in or out of my driveway. It was literally that high. They came back later that night and pushed it down, and I contacted Jared, but,
Mr. Farmer trying to show me the video on that. And, I assure you, it won't happen again. And I do know on the first snow that we had, of course, when we do plow, we plow these snow routes, primary snow routes first. And then we start hitting the side roads. Now, on that first snow, according to the guys that were doing the snow removal, they'd rather see 4, 5, 6 inches of snow to push rather than that first one we had, which was sleet and ice. But I did get some phone calls from a young lady that lives right across the street from you there, where she's a nurse, and she couldn't get out. And I got a hold of Mr. Turner, and it was about 7 o'clock in the evening, and I said, could you please run a truck up there so that lady can get out? And they did so. As far as the property there, Jason, he's saying it's right there at before his mailbox, or?
So there's, into the very end on the right, I believe Chris Surratt owns this house here. There's a telephone pole south, I guess.
South.
The street ended there. At whatever point, that's where the sewers ended, that's where everything ended at one point. At some point, I guess Mr. Yaya sold these lots separately, and so when I think Mr. Compton built the 2 on the left, he put the curbs, gutters, and street in. So whoever built that house, I'm not sure who, it's their responsibility to bring the road to us, not us take the road to them. And the county map does show like a cul-de-sac, kind of like this, I guess down to the end. I don't know who owned that property prior to all the way up to the top. So the street and the sewer stop about that telephone pole. So what I didn't talk to him, I had Dan tell me, and I think there's a gentleman before you, I think worked at the gas company, called with the same situation, and I told him that's the developer or the house builders that make the road. So what I told him I would do is if we have extra pavement or extra patch, we'll, instead of dumping it over the hill here by the rain tracks or whatever we get extra, we'll take it there and fill that in. And then Ward 4 will be 3 years, but if that street's on the list, we'll go all the way past his driveway. So we'll patch it for now, throw some stuff down there, I think we're getting some tomorrow, I said get some extra if you can, throw it up there and help him out. And then when we have the street paved, in 3 years, I guess it'll be Ward 4 will be on the list, we'll hopefully we do that street all the way down.
yeah, I just wanna make sure before I do anything, that's the other thing too, is I don't know, what am I allowed to do there as far as fixing it? I mean, I'll put down rock and dirt, if you're gonna put some patch down.
Yeah.
I'm willing to do that, I just wanna make sure I'm doing the right thing and not, causing any issues.
If I have we're supposed to get some patch tomorrow, so I'll talk to Danny in the morning and just make sure they clean it up and open it if they have any left. But that's what I told the previous owner, and I think they dumped a little there last year, maybe the year before. Depends on who's patching it, they know they're over here and done it there versus alongside the railroad tracks here. So that's what we can do until we pave, get those streets up there.
Does Mr. Yida still own that property back there, do you know?
I think Greg McQuarrie owns a lot next to him, and
Yeah.
then all the rest of it is still in
Reality.
In the estate.
Just stop the street right here. So
What's-
I think he wanted to put a cul-de-sac.
Well, he wanted us to do the street, the water line, the sewer line,
Yeah.
Right,
around it.
right.
I was doing that too.
We don't do
Developers
that.
do that, cities don't. We take property and subdivisions and streets over once the subdivision's built out or pretty close to built out.
Right.
Yeah.
So those 4 lots, and you talked to Mr. Compton to make sure that's true.
Right,
I thought he had put the,
he put the curbs in.
there.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem giving them some cash and trying to get all the way to his driveway if that street's on there in 3 years. Not a big deal.
Right.
Yeah, the other concern I had was that if you watch the runoff, all that runoff comes down that road and washes that,
There's no storm sewers up there whatsoever.
yeah.
Right, right.
Actually,
Well,
my neighbor, the Grasses,
Yeah.
he's got like a drainage pipe that comes out of his land and dumps right into the road, and then that all comes down.
So that's something we'll consider if that's ever developed and somebody comes in and says we're gonna build that out or the rest of that all the way. I think you take that as what comes out by Bauman Oil down there.
comes all the way out down by Bauman Oil, because me and,
We would have to.
Mr. Yide, we took a ride down through there one time, and he wanted to develop all that down through there. But here again, he wanted us to do some things and, right, streets, and we don't do that.
So if they develop any further, there'll have to be some stormwater and that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Jason, let's see, who's the legal owner of that property past his driveway there? And,
Some sort of United.
well, yeah, but like, let's find out for sure and, talk to them, because like, it really is their responsibility to either pave it or figure out how to get it into our hands after it's paved or something like that, 'cause like, we shouldn't be, I mean, I wanna fix the end of the street there so you can get in and out of your driveway, but we also need to have
I don't know.
title to that property before we start making a bunch of, yeah.
I don't know who built his current house.
Right.
That would have been who was.
Yeah, David Kurzall,
Did he build it?
yeah, he built it.
Then, I thought somebody from the gas.
I don't know where, yeah. I know, that's who I bought the house from, and he said he built it, so.
Whoever built that house should have made that road in front of that driveway where he's talking about.
Okay.
And it's bad, no, I'm not disagreeing with you, but that's not our, we made, Mr. Conlon, when he built those two houses, put the curb and gutter in, and maybe buy we may have supplied the pump station to get sewer up the hill, kind of the remain.
Yeah.
They have to come bring their stuff to us, we don't bring our stuff to them.
All I'm saying is like, while we're in the process of fixing the physical conditions, we also need to fix the fact that at least some part of that street isn't deeded to us yet.
So we can look at that, that's a good question for Brady.
Well, what Mr. Becker's saying is we can't go on private property and do that kind of work, basically.
And there's several roads, like this that we haven't taken over because they weren't built on spec.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, there's still gravel roads in town.
Right.
Yeah,
Alley, alley, Bruno Drive.
yep. I know.
But at the same time, that doesn't mean we cannot work with people to get things done. And that's our full intentions, is to
That's kind of what I'm looking for, I mean, I'm willing to.
work with, get things done. That's,
I'll make sure that they put whatever extra we have there until we can address it.
Okay.
right. Now, we can't get out and do any manual labor as far as, spreading it or anything, but we can dump it there and
They usually dump there and
pull off with the truck and flatten it out a little bit, but that's about it.
Okay.
So,
then we'll try to make sure that, I think Mayor talking about pushing, but we don't wanna get stuff down there either, 'cause we.
I get it.
yeah, yeah.
All right, appreciate it,
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Uh-huh. Check registered bills and financial reports, sales tax report, Councilperson Becker and Madam Clerk.
Okay, just a couple of comments of things that I noticed in here. You may or may not notice that when you get back to the, budget report, which is after the check register, the expenses that were related to the COVID funds that we received were all placed under, supplies and other expense in the city clerk's budget group. So that line item, because we didn't budget for any of those expenses, shows in here as like almost 700% over budget. But the revenue is elsewhere in there, and that's just where it wound up. So,
Yeah.
just in case you're wondering what that is as you flip through. And, Jason and/or Brandon, I did have one question on the check register. There's an item in here for, I'm sorry, I usually ask these questions before, but we were busy with other stuff today. There's a line item in here that I circled that I'm not seeing, but it was for a special prosecutor. Is that, what was that for?
We have an agreement with Lancaster Mayor,
Uh-huh,
who is a special prosecutor on cases that the firm can't handle,
okay,
conflict of interest.
I gotcha,
whatever it
okay.
is. So, they agreed, I believe, to do the same hourly rate,
okay.
that happened 2 or 3 times.
I figured that's what it was because of a conflict of interest somehow, but I just wanted to make sure.
It happens a couple of times a year, Tony. We
Yeah.
actually contracted that out because our special prosecutor was charging us a regular hourly private practice rate. So
Right.
we had to deal with Lexus there to do that at our rate.
Okay. With that, I'll move to, approve the financial report and the sales tax report and the check register in their entirety.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded, to approve the check register, bills, financial reports, and sales tax report. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Committee reports, Annexation Committee, Councilperson Farmer.
I have none.
Water Committee, Councilperson Picarella.
I really don't have a lot. I talked to Larry the other day. They had, well, I even talked to you, and I had quite a few, water main breaks.
They have been busy
Extremely
this
cold
time of
weather.
the year with the cold weather. Have
Ground
we-
shifts.
Right. Did we,
We have a major break somewhere we can't find.
we still haven't found it. Now, I know when I was in the office today, they had one up on Truman Boulevard by the payday loan, I believe it was. I don't know, I haven't heard any more on that one.
That's not it.
Okay.
If you see some water somewhere it's not supposed to be, sorry.
Yes.
Is it fluid from the tank, or do you know?
That we're losing 6 feet.
We lost 6 feet last night, and we normally, on a leak, we normally lose about 3, but last night we lost 6 feet. So we got a leak somewhere it's hard to find, just simply because of the snow melting and the snow being on there and then melting and water everywhere, and
They can show up, we'll find it. I mean, we've been looking for it since about middle of last week.
I know we have the police department, they're out, they're looking while they're out, and,
North of CVS.
That's the best you can do?
yep.
Was there something down by the track?
That was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. So that was that.
Yeah,
We
they
have
will.
pictures.
All the current leaks that we know. of,
Right,
Okay.
right.
We're full of tear out. We've had a lot of issues over the last week.
Is it a steady rate, like it's 6 feet a night?
So the first night they lost 3 feet, the second night they lost 6 feet, so it's a pretty good substantial leak.
They've been having to come in and work overnight to make sure we're
Well,
not water.
okay. Only reason I ask is I know that I let my faucets drip, like if everybody in town was letting their faucets drip that last week, that wouldn't cause that much leakage.
No.
Pretty good leak somewhere. It'll start, with the snow doesn't help any,
Yeah,
it doesn't help melting, it can be covered up by piles. We don't know really what's coming, so is it snow melting or is it actual leak, so hopefully the weather's gonna be nice next few days.
okay.
The truck will go through an alley and clean it out. We'll
Yeah.
find it, or it'll
Okay.
find us.
All right.
Anything else, Mr. Picarella?
No, sir.
Okay. Public Welfare and Fire, Councilperson Fisher?
They had, 4 fire practices, total of 25 calls, so 10 fire calls and 15 mutual aid.
And I know they've been busy,
They have been-
according to my 911 calls, they have been. Anything else, Mr. Fisher?
That's all I have.
Building Commissioner, Mr. Cox, you have anything on Mr. Cox, Building Commission? Street and Street Lighting, Councilperson Bradley.
I thought the guys did a tremendous job keeping up with the snow we had. I seen them, they were out early, out all night. I heard the trucks going, and they stayed on top of it this year. They did an outstanding job, if you could pass that on to them.
I'll have to agree with you. My wife went as far as took them donuts and coffee down there last week. Anything else, Mr. Bradley?
No, sir.
Police Department, Councilperson Schonberg and Chief Helms.
I don't have anything, Your Honor.
Chief?
Chief?
No, sir.
Okay. Council liaison reports. Library School, Councilperson Fisher.
I don't have anything, Your Honor.
Park Board, Councilperson Schonberg.
No, sir.
Sewage Commission, Councilperson Picarella.
I don't have anything.
Planning and Zoning, Councilperson Becker.
Nothing, sir.
Zoning of Appeals, Councilperson Ginever.
I have something.
Yes, sir.
There's a meeting planned for March 1st, and it's to consider, undersized lots on Taylor Avenue where the, Coca-Cola dealership used to be.
The old 7-Up building, yeah.
Yeah, where they tore down that big white brick building a couple of years ago, I think.
Right.
So I haven't seen the outlines of the lots though, so I don't know exactly what they're gonna put there, but that's on March 1st.
March 1st. Anything else, Mr. Ginever? Thank you, sir.
Jack, can I ask a question on that? I thought that, are they asking for those lot boundaries to be adjusted, or what are they asking for?
I think we have to have, 70 feet, on one side,
Okay,
according to our ordinances, and it's gonna be smaller than that. So you're gonna put single-family lots on it.
They're asking for 60, I understand. The reason I heard that is because 3 people that live up there have called me and, they're all gonna be here and they're pretty upset. Now, they may not be upset after they hear, you know, the whole story, because I don't know the whole story, but that's, they said that the lots, they're requesting that the lots be 60 feet instead of 70 feet. So they're worried about small lots.
So right now, the lots are 70 feet. You know, by ordinance, by building code, the lots are 70 feet, but they wanna cut them down to 60 feet. Okay.
10 feet each.
Okay.
That's what, I haven't seen the letter, I
Right,
didn't get it, but
okay.
the people that contacted me said that's what's in the letter. that
Anyway,
they
the-
received.
I thought, not to excuse me for stepping on you there, I thought that lot adjustments were more properly went to P and Z, not to Board of Zoning Appeals. I thought it would go to BOZA if, for instance, if somebody wanted to, be allowed to put something on there that wasn't gonna comply. But if the property lines themselves are being adjusted, I thought adjustments of property line boundaries went to P and Z.
That's what I would have expected as well.
So, Tony, I had a chance to look at this a little bit. I know that the plan has changed since I've seen it originally, but the Board of Zoning Appeals really does have 2 different powers. One is to correct decisions made from the building commissioner, and 2 is to grant variances in the zoning ordinance under special or unique circumstances, one of those being lot sizes. So, I think it's actually in the appropriate venue for it to be in at this point. It's just a matter of, can the applicant actually present some type of special or unique circumstance as to why those lot sizes currently set up in the planning and zoning ordinance aren't appropriate, so. I called being at the meeting, because I know that it could have potential to be contested, because I think the plan has went from 4 homes to 8 homes and has exploded, I think, to 15 homes at some point in time, so it's gotten pretty dramatically increased in its size and scope, so, I have it written down on my calendar, and I plan on being there to review everything with the board as well.
Okay, well, as long as somebody's on top of it, please understand, I didn't want it to go to one committee versus the other. I really, as long as it's going to the right place, I really don't care. But what I wanted to avoid is if somebody needed a decision on something before they can move forward, it takes a while to schedule one of these meetings, and I didn't want it to be scheduled and get there and have a 5-minute meeting at which they decide they brought it in front of the wrong committee.
Right.
And it takes
Rick about that prior to even setting the meeting.
All right.
I think we're in good shape. I think it's
Okay.
been posted and published as well. I think Rick publishes all those meetings in the newspaper.
Okay.
Especially when there has potentially some contention, but.
I think he's required to publish them anyway, even if nobody objects to anything, but,
Yep.
yes.
Yep. Okay. Levy Commission, I'm sorry, anything else, Mr. Ginever? Levy Commission, Councilperson Farmer.
I don't have anything, Your Honor, unless Jason has something.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak of something that we had as far as the previous meeting we had on the 25th? If not, we'll move on to old business, which we have none. New business, we have none. Ordinance and resolutions. we have a bill number 1827-2021, enacting a new code for the city for the repeal of certain ordinances.
Mayor, I believe we read this and passed it once last meeting, is that true?
That's correct.
I'll move to read Bill 1827-2021 on its second reading by title only.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1827-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion?
Can we just, summarize what this is all about again? 'Cause I think, we have meetings once a month and I can't remember. This is about putting a bunch of new codes into our ordinances? that we-
Correct.
Okay.
Effectively, it's correcting a bunch of typos in our existing code and, minor grammatical changes and things like that, just to bring it up to spec.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir?
So we had a motion on the
We got a
second.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the second and final reading, please, of Bill 1827-2021. By title only.
Bill number 1827-2021 on its second and final reading. An ordinance adopting and enacting a new code for the city of Crystal City, Missouri, providing for the repeal of certain ordinances not included therein, providing a penalty for the violation thereof, providing for the manner of amending such code, and providing when such code and this ordinance shall become effective.
I'll move to approve Bill 1827-2021 on its second reading.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve Bill 1827-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. I will poll the council. Councilperson Bradley? Councilperson Farmer? Councilperson Ginever? Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher? Councilperson Schonberg? Councilperson Piccarella? And Councilperson Massa. Bill 1827-2021 now becomes ordinance 1827-2021. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
The next bill we have is 1828-2021. It's the findings of facts and order for 723 Crystal Avenue.
I'll move to read Bill 1828-2021 on its first reading by title only.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1828-2021 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion?
Can I get a little more of a summary on this? Because I didn't know that we needed to vote on this.
Yes, sir. Mr. Munier?
Jack, so, I don't know if you were here, but we had a hearing, on this dangerous building, potential dangerous building, 723, you can refer to it as the Underwood property if you'd like, but if you remember, we had a hearing where we treated it as an evidentiary hearing where the city presented its evidence, Mr. Underwood and his council presented their evidence. The council then, after hearing all of that, has to make a finding, the ordinance requires you to make a written findings of fact and order as to what your findings are, as to whether or not that building is a dangerous building. I have the whole entire transcript here of the hearing, if you'd like to review it. You can remember the testimony. Mr. Cox testified on behalf of the city, Fire Superintendent Boga testified on behalf of the city as well. The applicant actually didn't present any witness evidence or any documentary evidence in contradiction to what the city had presented, so it's up to the council now to make its determination to determine if the building is in fact a dangerous building and whether or not it should be torn down. So that's what's in front of you here tonight.
Now, what about the ownership of the property?
Ownership of the property doesn't change as a result of this. This is just whether or not it is deemed a dangerous building. Now, if the city council does deem it a dangerous building tonight, this order, or this ordinance along with the findings of facts that are associated with it gets sent to Mr. Underwood and his council. They then have 30 days to tear it, well, the only way to clean the property up is to tear it down, not use the tear. So they have 30 days to tear the property down. If they do not do so, the city can actually take steps to tear the property down using its own resources and then place a special tax lien bill against the property, which the city can move forward on attempting to foreclose or whatever the remedy is for them. So it all takes some steps
Since Mr. Underwood didn't present any, evidence on his own side, do we anticipate that there will be any, I mean, do we know what he's thinking at this point?
Well, that's a fantastic question, because we've been sued by Mr. Underwood twice for this same piece of property, the details of which I don't wanna get into right now in open session, but trying to predict what he's going to do next is very difficult. If he was to take a litigious path like he has before, you would see him, he has 30 days to appeal this administrative decision to the circuit court. He would have to claim that somehow the council's decision was arbitrary, capricious, or didn't hold up to the weight of the evidence in some way, shape, or form. That's kind of why the city's process was as extravagant as it was in trying to put as much evidence in front of you as you could to make a good decision for the council. So, if he's gonna take those steps, he has to do it quick. He has to file suit within 30 days of receiving this order, so it's a quick turnaround, but, you know, we'll know something come early spring on how he's gonna handle this order.
Okay.
You okay with that, Mr. Ginevra?
I am, thank you.
Okay, yes, sir. And there is a motion and a second on the floor. And Madam Clerk, could we have the first reading of Bill number 1828-2021 by title only, please? Did we vote on that? I'm sorry. Let me back up. 1828-21, bill number. To be read by title only on its first reading. I'll entertain a motion to do so.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Now, Madam Clerk, we have the first reading of Bill 1828-2021. By title only, please.
Bill number 1828-2021 on its first reading by title only, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, approving findings of fact and order in reference to a public hearing for 723 Crystal Avenue, Crystal City, Missouri.
Move to approve Bill 1828-2021 on its first reading.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve the first reading of Bill 1828-21 on its first reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
Mayor, owing to the fact that this has been going on since the hearing took place in October, I would, move to read Bill 1828-2021 a second time this evening by title only, so we can get going with it.
I second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1828-21 by its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the second reading of Bill 1828-21, please, by title only.
Bill number 1828-2021, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, approving findings of fact and order in reference to a public hearing for 723 Crystal Avenue, Crystal City, Missouri.
I'll move to accept Bill 1828-2021 on its second and final reading.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1828-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Bradley?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginevra? Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Schonberg?
Yes.
Councilperson Picarella?
Yes.
And Councilperson Massa? And Bill 1828-2021 now becomes Ordinance 1828-2021. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Did you guys get this? David, Mary? There's two spots on this signature, one on the back page and one about the second page.
So you're signing the ordinance itself and then the actual order of the property to be torn down.
All right.
The next bill that we have is Bill number 1829-2021. the approving of the employment agreement.
I'll move to read Bill 1829-2021 on its first reading by title only.
I'll second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1829-2021 by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the first reading of Bill 1829-2021, please, by title only.
Bill number 1829-2021 on its first reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, approving an employment agreement for the purposes of retaining the municipal judge and authorizing Mayor Thomas B. Shelley to execute on behalf of the city the employment agreement and any other documents necessary therefore.
I'll move to accept Bill 1829-2021 on its first reading.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1829-2021 on its, first reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
And I presume we want to read this a second time?
Yes. Yeah.
I'll move to read Bill 1829-2021 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill 1829-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the second reading, please, by title only.
Bill number 1829-2021 on its second and final reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, approving an employment agreement for the purposes of retaining the municipal judge and authorizing Mayor Thomas B. Shelley to execute on behalf of the city the employment agreement and any other documents necessary therefore.
I'll move to approve Bill 1829-2021 on its second and final reading.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve Bill 1829-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. I will poll the council. Councilperson Massa? Councilperson Pickerel? Councilperson Schonberg? Councilperson Fisher? Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Farmer? Councilperson Bradley? Councilperson Ginever? And Bill 1829-2021 now becomes ordinance 1829-2021. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
The next bill we have is Bill number 1830-2021, the transfer of property on 150 Hugs Landing Road.
I'll move to read Bill 1830-2021 on its first reading by title only.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to read Bill number 1830-2021 by title only. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I would like to know some more about this as well. I didn't, really know anything about it. I know where the property's at. It's, right there by the, old street department, right?
Yes, sir.
So, did it actually, it's not condemned, right? He's just transferring ownership over to the city?
So, I'll say probably October, I brought it to you guys. We had talked to this gentleman, he has walked away from it, he's not having anything to do with it, he's not gonna tear it down. The option was continue to fight with him, we could cut, get it torn down, or he would give it to us, then we would have ownership of the property, we would tear it down, and we could maintain it that way. Versus fighting with him, people live up there, aggravated, not anything done with it, the council agreed to, that's probably our better option. So Brandon and I have been communicating with him back and forth for the better part of 2 or 3 months, trying to get this ironed out, because additionally, first, I think he wanted some sort of credit, $30,000 credit or something, something like that, so we eventually, we just gonna give it to us, we'll take it, we'll be responsible for tearing down the house, there's a garage, but then we'll be able to maintain the property without, any situations like Mr. Underwood.
And
There
there's,
was probably 4 foot of water in it when it flooded, so I mean, the house is no
oh, yeah, I
good.
know, yeah,
It's not inevitable, Rick won't let him.
right. And, there's no liens or taxes on it, right? Outstanding taxes?
We did a title report on it and it was clean.
I think he's been bought out, he's just not putting anything back in there.
I couldn't believe it. I thought that I would find a litany of issues wrong with it, but I think it was involved in a divorce in some way, shape, or form as well, and it just, he just walked away from it and he's not maintaining it, and he's not gonna do anything with it. So this was the most cost-efficient way that we could figure out how to get it done. We wanted to do the ordinance first, so that we didn't just take the property if the council didn't agree that it was what you wanted first, so we did the ordinance first. He still had to execute the deed and sign the deed, but he told us he would meet us down here. I'm a notary, I think Shelley's a notary, so we can get the deed signed down here at City Hall.
So, we would probably want to demolish it then, I imagine. And that's not in next year's budget?
Yes, it is.
It is? Okay. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Ginever. There is a motion on the floor and a second, to read by title only, bill number 1830-21. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the first reading of bill 1830-2021 by title only, please.
Bill number 1830-2021 on its first reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, accepting and approving the transfer of property from Jeremiah M. Larrigan II, located at 150 Huggs Landing Road, Crystal City, Missouri, 63019, to the city and authorize the mayor, Thomas B. Shelley, or his designated representative, the city administrator, Jason Eisenbice, to execute any documents necessary for the transfer.
I'll move to accept bill 1830-2021 on its first reading.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept bill 1830-2021 on its first reading by title only. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
I'll move to read bill 1830-2021 a second time this evening by title only.
The motion's been made and seconded to read bill 1830-2021 by title only on its second final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Madam Clerk, we have the second reading of bill number 1830-2021 by title only, please.
Bill number 1830-2021 on its second and final reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, accepting and approving the transfer of property from Jeremiah M. Larrigan II, located at 150 Huggs Landing Road, Crystal City, Missouri, 63019, to the city and authorizing the mayor, Thomas B. Shelley, or his designated representative, the city administrator, Jason Eisenbice, to execute any documents necessary for the transfer.
I'll move to accept bill 1830-2021 on its second and final reading.
The motion's been made and seconded to accept bill 1830-2021 on its second and final reading. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. I will poll the council. Councilperson Massa? Councilperson Piccarello? Councilperson Schonberg?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher? Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever? Councilperson Farmer?
Yes.
And Councilperson Bradley? And bill 1830-2021 now becomes ordinance 1830-2021. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Next thing we have on the agenda is the city administrator's report, which you all have a copy of. Then we have the mayor's reports. Anybody got any questions on it, just, feel free to ask. Mayor's report, the only thing I really have is, I will reiterate what was said before as far as the snow removal. I thought the guys did a fantastic job on it. Now we got the job of, after things dry out, is going back and fixing the potholes. Because believe me, there's a lot of them. I go through town every day, and there's quite a few of them out there. Other than that, I will go to the round table. Councilperson Massa?
I just wanted to say the street department did a great job too. I could hear them out at like 3:30 in the morning with the clouds before school got canceled. So that, and then we also had a water meeting break by our house too, and they were out there. They were really doing a great time.
Councilperson Pickerel. Councilperson Schonberg.
I don't have anything, sir.
Councilperson Fisher.
Nothing from me.
Councilperson Becker.
Just a couple of quick comments. One, with everything that's going on down in Texas, I did ask Jason to confirm that we have, generator capacity at both the water plant and the sewer plant that's adequate to keep those things running in the event of an emergency, and we do, which I thought was the case, but I just wanted to ask the question. And then, the Sunshine Law class that's scheduled for April 8th, Jason, is it just council members coming to that, or are there employees required to attend that as well? Okay. And then your note down at the bottom says our next meeting on March 23rd will be a long one. For one thing, I think that Monday's the 22nd. Okay. And then, if it's gonna be such a long meeting, do we wanna schedule a second meeting for earlier in March to cover some of that stuff? Okay, all right. I thought you meant like a really long meeting.
We'll have we'll have a budget ordinance,
Okay.
union contract, salary contract, hopefully my contract, salary contract, will go through.
Huh.
So there'll be 4, 5, 6
Okay.
ordinances on there.
All right. And, I do want to echo the comments about the street department doing an excellent job. I know MoDOT's got hundreds of miles of, roads to keep clean, and we only have a few, but man, they did a good job. That's all. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Councilperson Ginever.
Yeah, I have a few things, here, Shirley. I wrote an email to Jason today about, L&R Furniture, and I was made aware of some, drainage problems there in the corner of Maple and Bailey. Mr. Mayor, were you involved with that as well, or? He said he talked to you and Jason and Carl Vogt.
You talking about Ronnie Ray? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right down there on the corner of it.
Yeah, he said that the water, when it rains kinda heavy, can actually, like, come up right against the doors into the store.
Okay.
And could get into the store. And I did check it out, and it didn't look like there was very many, drains in that area. There was really only one on that corner, right? Yeah.
So, I talked to Dan this morning, he showed me some pictures of when he was down there. The only thing we could do, or consider doing, is when we repay that, we get the grant in 4 years, is putting storm boxes at each corner. The problem with that, you're just putting storm boxes there, you're not increasing the capacity of the pipe. You know, you could go into the next storm box and then it goes.
Is that the problem, the capacity of the pipe at that
There's
location?
only one storm right there, so, the picture he showed me was one of those, looked like a really big rain that we get every occasionally. And because of that handicap ramp there, having to be at the 2-to-1 slope or whatever, it's just a pathway to the front of that sidewalk. So the only thing that Dan said, we could put a box coming off Virginia. Is it Virginia?
Yeah, Virginia.
The box there at the corner of Virginia, but you tie it into that box, which is, then goes down the side. So you're creating, I don't know if you're helping. But I also don't know what else we can do, because we can't raise that handicap of that intersection, it has to be at that 2-to-1 slope, 70% of it.
And you can't direct the flow away from it, either, I suppose, because there's no place else for it to go.
I'm not sure how we would direct the flow, because it's actually
Yeah.
going down Maple,
Right.
going down Virginia, going down Bailey. It's really at that corner, because it's so low because of the handicap ramp, and then it heads to the curve, and goes down to the, so we could put a box in, it wouldn't hurt it. I don't necessarily know if it's gonna help. You're not creating, you may not create any more size of pipe. It probably wouldn't hurt, but I don't know if it's gonna.
I think, personally, I think that another box would help that. I mean, right now, we got one there, and the water does go down it, and I don't see the water, coming up and out of it where it's, overfilled or anything, so.
We can try to put a box there connected to that one, there is a water main, right down the center of that.
Right.
So, but I don't want to do it now, let's wait till it's closer to, when we do that overlay project.
Sure. But I think that would help, I really do.
But if you're not gonna increase the size of the pipe, I don't know what's there.
Right.
You're changing the flow, all the way to the street, it may slope some of it down and not make.
Well, I see Mr. Ray almost on a daily basis when I take my walk. Next time I see him, I will,
We can put a box
we can talk to him, yeah,
Is it gonna make this problem worse?
No, 'cause they'll mill, we'll do it, they'll mill.
yeah.
Don't know what the,
Okay.
there'll be at least a 2-inch mill and 3-inch overlay. But they taper that down at those, for handicap,
Okay, that'll work. Well, at least we have a story for, you know, we've got a future, a roadmap into a solution.
That was Danny's first thing this morning, and I called him, he said, yeah, that's what I think we should do.
Great. Okay. I'll tell him that we talked about it at least. And Tom, if you run into him, you might
No,
want to
that's
tell him
fine,
the same
that's
thing.
fine.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Ginever?
Yeah, a couple things. They're a lot quicker than that. I wanna thank, Shelley for updating, I guess it was, Shelley's group for updating the website. I checked it out, and it even had the agenda for the Planning and Zoning Appeals Board meeting on it, which is, just came out just a day or two ago, so it's all up to date and it looks great. And then, I'm not gonna complain about this, but I noticed an absence of cinders this year. Are we not using cinders? And we're not gonna use them anymore? Oh, hooray. Okay, great. What,
I think it was a combination of everyone's really not giving them away anymore, and we bought some new screen doors and siding and just a mess. We use more salt,
yeah.
but they were a mess.
They're not
We're gonna get chunked for that stuff, here in our equipment, so.
they're not charging for it, are they?
No, I think they used to give them to us, and then it got less and less each year, and I don't think, NODOT particular, DNR particularly, wants you to throw that stuff down either, so.
Okay.
But it got to be, I mean, we put new siding on that building down there, and then we knocked holes in it. You can't really, you change the spreader, if you're going down the alley like that, or going down, I know we bought a sliding door somewhere, and it wasn't a good mix, so once we ran out, we couldn't use it.
Okay.
They really the streets up.
And I'll echo, everybody else's praise for the street department, and I'm well aware of it now, 'cause they're right by my house, and I see every truck and hear every truck that goes out, and they slam that shovel down right there at that corner, so it bounces my head off the bed, and I'm okay with that.
Is that why you get up so early and take your walk?
You know, I'm at that age where you don't really sleep anymore anyway.
Hey, don't get me in that.
I wasn't saying you were.
I know.
Okay, that's all I got, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Councilperson Bradley? Councilperson Bradley?
Back to the streets, I don't know if anybody's been up and down the highways, but, I've noticed every seam on the highway, it seems like, has buckled.
Oh, yeah.
I'm guessing this is gonna go to the state, you know.
I think it'll go back down.
I don't recall
once-
seeing this.
I noticed that right off the bat, but I
Yeah.
think it'll go back down once the, hot weather hits. You know, I
hope so.
really do. I mean, they buckle up, expansion and contraction, you know, it's,
Yeah, and that's probably as rough as I ever remember it.
Yeah, it-
It's real bad shape.
I'll agree with you.
Uh,
It's kinda like that strip of highway right there,
Yeah.
right before you come into Crystal on the
Yeah.
right-hand side.
Yeah, the rumble
The
strip.
whole thing, yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Not sure who poured that concrete, but.
yeah. But I think they'll go back down once the, heat hits it. But
I hope so, that's all I got.
Okay. Chief Helms?
No, sir.
Chief Bova's not here. Mr. Greenmeyer, Mr. Cox, Mr. Eisenbeis. Mr. Eisenbeis.
No, this echoes the same thing everybody, said. I wanted to include the water department, police department, fire department, and ask their output of these calls, and 2-3, 0-3. Everybody did a really good job. I do have a lot of praise for, Mr. Turner. I hope he keeps up a good job. He kinda took over for Dean, beginning in January. Mr. Freemark's finishing up the shed, the break room, the upstairs stuff, and things that we kinda went through maintenance before he leaves for us, and Danny's really done a good job. So I hope he continues to do so. So that's a good change that we're seeing, so, that's all I got.
Madam Clerk? Mr. Cherry? Mr. Farmer?
Thank you for the added pressure, Mr. Mayor. So,
You're welcome.
I've already talked to the mayor and Jason about this, but, tonight will actually be my last night sitting as a fellow councilman for the city of Crystal City with you guys. So I appreciate, everything you've all done for me and, what you've done for the city of Crystal City. It shows. Jason, thank you for dealing with me. Mr. Mayor, likewise. I just want, the city of Crystal City to stay in good hands and continue forward like they have been, and this has been my home for many years, so I will miss it. And, with that, thank you again.
We appreciate the few years that you've been on, Mr. Farmer. We do have a plaque coming in the near future. On such a short notice, we didn't have time to put a plaque together for you, but we will. We'll have you back. So you're not gonna be far away, so stay in contact with us.
Will do, I gotta come back for that cake.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my wife promised you a cake, didn't she? That's correct.
Yes, she did.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else,
Wait a
Mr.
minute,
Farmer?
we get a plaque when we step down?
Yeah.
That's a good deal, man.
No, that's all, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion to, right now, we need to entertain a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
The motion's been made and seconded to go into closed session. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. We are in closed session. Yes, yes. I got it written down here too somewhere. As far as... Do we need to read the notice for the closed session?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Becker?
Yep.
Could give us the honors, please? And then we need to take...
Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Crystal City, Missouri will duly vote during the regular council meeting on Monday, February 22nd, 2021, to close a portion of said meeting for the purpose of discussing legal actions, causes of actions, and litigation involving the city and any confidential or privileged communications between the city and its representatives and attorneys as authorized by Section 610.021 sub 1 of the Missouri Revised Statutes, and for the purpose of discussing hiring, firing, promoting, or disciplining actions of an employee of the city when personal information about the employee is discussed or recorded as authorized by Section 610.021 sub 3 of the Missouri Revised Statutes, and will conduct said closed meeting after regular council meeting on Monday, February 22nd, 2021, at the City Council Chambers at City Hall, posted, the 22nd at noon. Is that correct?
Yes,
That's,
right,
Okay.
19th,
Right.
yes. And Madam Clerk, has this notice been posted, dated, signed, and or initialed?
Yes, sir.
I will entertain a motion to go into the closed session. We've already spoken on it. And I'll take the roll call of the closed session. Councilperson Ginever? Yes. Councilperson Schonberg? Yes. Councilperson Becker?
yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Bradley? Yes. Councilperson Massa? Yes. Councilperson Farmer?
Yes.
Councilperson Piccarella? We are in closed session.
Can we turn on the camera before we proceed?
Yes.
Out of the work forward. Yeah.
Did you get it, Tony?
Yeah.